This is Doris's Golf Club, where I explore the stories of women's golf, my path as a beginner, and the lessons the game offers beyond the fairway. Welcome to the club. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Right. So if you are hearing this, you know that I am already in Korea and I am recording this ahead of time and I have posted this. So I hope that I am there safely and have already been able to send you all some amazing short form content from the trip. And I hope you all are enjoying that. This is all kind of weird, recording ahead and knowing that this will be posted and you'll be listening to this while I'm already there, but it's really exciting too, thinking ahead about that. So at this point, basically, this will be coming out the Tuesday prior to the International Crown, starting on Thursday, October 23rd. And so what I wanted to do in today's episode is talk again about the format of the event. I know I talked about that, but it was so long ago and we've talked about so much in between. So I wanted to go over that again. And then we do have our pools, so we know which teams will be playing against each other in their different pools. And we know when those games will be happening. And then I want to talk about the course itself and a little bit more about like the tee times and where you all can watch and when, things like that, so that you will be all ready for the tournament to start on Thursday. All right, so let me talk about the golf course itself. I highly recommend going to the golf course's website, which is the Nieuw-Korea-Country-Club. That is where this tournament is being held. And the website, oh my goodness, you guys, this golf course looks so beautiful. The pictures that they have on there, it is stunning. And I mean stunning. The different trees that they have pictures through all 4 seasons. And oh my goodness, spring, of course, they have the cherry blossoms. And so there are gorgeous cherry trees all along at least one of the fairways. And so in the spring, they have a picture of all the cherry blossoms out. And it is so beautiful. Summer, it just looks so green and lush and beautiful. Fall, and so I'm really hoping that the trees have started turning colors when we're there, because fall looks so gorgeous with the red and the yellow and all the different colors of the leaves and kind of falling on the ground. Classic fall looks beautiful, but then with also some of the evergreen trees, with some of the pine trees. And then in winter, when of course they're not golfing, but the pictures of the thick, heavy snow on the ground and covering all the trees, it still looks like such a beautiful, magical place in winter. It is gorgeous. And so it shows it through all 4 seasons. And the pictures, like I said, are just spectacular. So that alone, I really recommend just going to the Nieuw-Korea-Country-Club website and you will get a look at those pictures and it is beautiful. So it does look like a hilly golf course, definitely some hills, and it is so gorgeous with mountains in the background. And that is one of their big features that they talk about on the website. All right, so the course itself, it is 6,912 yards, and it is a par 72 golf course. Now, the course designers, there were 3 course designers, one from Korea, one from America, and one from Japan. And so the Korean designer is Ji Yeonbong. The American designer is Paul Colby, and Japanese designer is Matsuyama Cage. I'm very interested in these designers. You know, I have been very interested in golf course design in general. So after the International Crown is done and I'm kind of able to focus on some other things, you know, I have been very interested in golf course design, what's going on with just the designers, like who's a popular designer, what's going on, and then of course like the eco-friendly design and what's going on with that. So I want to learn more. That's later after the International Crown is done. So this was really interesting to me. The country club itself was established in 1966, and it was started through, they said, the joint efforts of 4 major conglomerate CEOs through the suggestion of a certain chairman of a prominent golf organization. Basically, this golf organization is comprised of business leaders in Korea's economic industry. And so this chairman had suggested that they needed a new Korea country club. They needed a country club. So this country club is run, the shareholder status is 4 different big companies. So Hanwha is one of them. HD Hyundai is one. A company called, is it Haesung? And then Kolon, Kolon. So these 4 companies are actually the ones who are still running this golf course and manage this golf course and are the shareholders of this golf course. And so I thought that was very interesting. I mean, golf obviously is a very big, important sport in Korea. And I think it makes sense with as many, very international, very huge businesses as there are in Korea, that they wanted a golf course that was close to Seoul. And this one is very accessible to Seoul. And it's just kind of on the outskirts of, Seoul, central Seoul. And so they started this golf course in 1966. And it is, of course, membership based. It is a country club. I think it is very exclusive. The website talks about like their restaurant being incredibly high class. Something, the quality of the food being something that you would get at like the most prestigious hotel, really, really high class culinary skills from their chefs. They even talk about in the off season from the golf course, their chefs actually go and learn more skills, learn more cooking skills, the latest, styles of cooking and different cuisine so that they can offer that to all the members then during the on season of golf. It was really interesting. Also, even they mentioned how their caddies wear like the fanciest caddy uniforms. It's evidently a very fancy country club. And it was just really interesting looking at, again, the website and seeing kind of what they focused on and what they were promoting and why, really pushing this as a very, very fancy, prestigious country club. Okay, so like I said, it does boast a history and tradition of over 50 years as a very prestigious membership-based golf course in the capital region. And so it allows its members to enjoy their rounds while gazing at the finest mountain in Korea, which is Bukhansan, which is what they said. So Bukhansan, this mountain, it's also called Bukhan Mountain. So it's a mountain. I told you in a lot of these views, these pictures of the golf course, you can see this gorgeous mountainous background while looking at the fairway and these different holes on the course. So this Bukhan Mountain is a mountain on the northern periphery of Seoul. And I guess there's kind of these 3 major peaks of this mountain. And because of its height and the fact that it borders a considerable portion of Seoul, it's a major landmark because it's visible from most districts in Seoul. And Bukhansan means mountain north of Han River, referring to the fact that it is the northern border of the city of Seoul. And so it is the highest mountain within Seoul's boundaries. And it's really, really popular. There is a national park there, Bukhansan National Park, and it was formed in 1983. It's very, very popular national park. A lot of bird watchers, hikers, rock climbers go there, and they say around 5 million hikers go to Bukhansan National Park every year. So this golf course with these beautiful views of the mountain and being where it is they say on their website that they are the one and only golf course in the world that is at an excellent feng shui location. They say that the New Korea golf course is situated at an excellent feng shui location, embracing the energy and aura of royalty of one of the 5 famous mountains in South Korea, Bukhansan. It's a prestigious club with a rich history and tradition where golfers can experience positive energy while playing their rounds. And I just love that this is, front and center on their website. This is really promoted. And like I said, looking at these pictures, like immediately when you go to the website, I can kind of feel it. I get what they're talking about. This beautiful, beautiful golf course, the nature that they have, embracing that nature, the views, the gorgeous trees that they have. Even just seeing the pictures on the website, I felt the energy, the positive energy. I can't wait to be out there and be able to experience this golf course, walking around and seeing these views. I'm really excited. Okay, so it's really an interesting layout. So I know when I had gone to Wales to the AIG Women's Open, I talked with you all about how tightly kind of structured the golf course is. And so even though I walked a ton and was exhausted, it was a golf course where you're kind of on top of one another. And even not just the spectators walking around, but even the women on the course, there were plenty of times where, women would have to be waiting because someone would be teeing off at another hole and they may hit the women who were playing. Like, for example, at 1, the second hole teeing off crosses the fairway of 1. And so there's all this kind of overlapping, kind of winding in and out of the golf course there at Royal Porthcawl. And you're just kind of on top of one another, and really interesting layout. Whereas I talked about at Chevron, much more spread out. There were points where, we didn't even get to certain holes because in order to walk over there, we would have had, we weren't crossing any fairways. We weren't allowed to. And so to get over there, we would have had to follow around and around, and we didn't necessarily want to do that. So very different experiences at those 2 majors. Now, this golf course is interesting in the fact that their layout is a definite in and out as far as the front 9 and the back 9, and they are pretty separate with just a kind of a little crossover. And I printed out a map, and I'm gonna kind of hold it with the north. Let's see here. If you're watching here on YouTube, you can see I'm putting north. I'm doing it north to south here. So you can see, for example, let me make sure I've got the front 9. Yeah. So here's holes 1 through 9 are down here, and then 10 through 18 are up here. And you can see how separate they are. And this is just the clubhouse right in between. So those of you who aren't watching, it's basically like if you took like a figure 8 almost, and filled in the top part, or, the number 8, the top part filled in is the back 9, and the bottom part is the front 9. And just where the 8 touches there is the clubhouse, is kind of how I would describe it. So very separate there as a course. So women are not going to be on top of each other. They're not going to be, hitting from one tee off to, down their fairway and having someone else have to stop. So it's a very, very distinct front 9 and back 9 at this golf course. Now, how I think that this is going to be interesting to see, they have announced the tee off, at least kind of the tee off times, but not fully. They don't have a ton of information about exactly when every team will be teeing off. They only have kind of general tee off times posted, at least that I can find. So, for example, they do have tee off times as far as Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they say tee-off times go from 9:15 a.m. to 11 a.m. all 3 days. So only teeing off in the morning. We don't have any afternoon tee-offs. Then on Sunday, where we have the semifinals and the finals, we do have tee-off times from 7 a.m. to 7:50 a.m. for the semifinals. And then for the finals, we do have a 1 p.m. to 1:20 p.m. tee-off times. So we do have an afternoon tee-off on Sunday. The reason why I think it's interesting that we know some information here, but not all of it, is I've been doing some speculating as far as how this is going to be played. Let me tell you a little bit more. So going back to what we talked about with the way the tournament is going to be structured, with teams playing each other and being in different pools. I have more information about who is in what pool and how and when they're going to be playing. So we have our seeding, and so the countries, the way that they are seeded, and so for some context, that's how I went in order of talking about each team and the women on each team. And so the seeding is US number 1, Japan number 2, Korea number 3, Australia number 4, Thailand number 5, Sweden number 6, the world team number 7, and China number 8. That's the seeding. Those 8 teams are split into 2 different pools. We have Pool A and Pool B. So in Pool A, we have the number 1 seed, number 4 seed, number 5 seed, and number 8 seed. So we have the US, Australia, Thailand, and China. Then in our Pool B, we have the number 2 seed, number 3, number 6, number 7. So we have Japan, Korea, Sweden, and the world team in Pool B. So we know that. Then we know that everyone in Pool A will play everyone in Pool A, and everyone in Pool B will play everyone in Pool B. That is what is happening Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And the top 2 teams from each pool then go to the semifinals on Sunday morning, and whoever wins their semifinal match Sunday morning goes to the final match Sunday afternoon, and then the bottom 2 teams from that semifinal go to play for whoever's third on Sunday afternoon. So that's the structure. So we do know on the very first day, on Thursday, that the US is playing China, and we know that Australia is playing Thailand in Pool A. Pool B, we know that Japan is playing the world team. Man, that's going to be great. And Korea is playing Sweden. Friday, we have the US playing Thailand and Australia playing China in Pool A. In Pool B, we have Japan playing Sweden and Korea playing the world team. And then Saturday, we have the US, of course, playing Australia and Thailand playing China in Pool A. And Pool B, we have Japan playing Korea. Well, that's going to be so great. And then Sweden playing the world team, and that's in Pool B. Like I said, then after those 3 days, whoever has the most points, the top 2 teams in each pool, will then go to playing the semifinals on Sunday morning. The winners of the semifinals, the 2 winners, will play the finals to determine 1 and 2. And the losers of the semifinals will go and play to determine who is number 3. So then I have learned, because we have 4 women on each team, then over the first 3 days, Thursday through Saturday, teams compete against every other team in the same pool, and each team versus team pairing will consist of 2 4-ball matches. I've talked about 4-ball matches versus foursome matches. So 4-ball matches, is where there's literally 4 balls. So we have 2 teams of 2, but all 4 ladies are playing their own ball. And then for the team, 1 score will count. So the lowest score for each team is the one that counts, but all 4 women are playing their own ball. So that's a 4-ball match. So that is being played. 4-ball matches are being played all day, Thursday through Saturday. But team versus team pairing will consist of 2 4-ball matches. So to me, what this means is when on day 1, when the U.S. plays China, 2 U.S. women will play 2 Chinese women. And then another match will be the remaining 2 US women will play the remaining 2 Chinese women. So basically, in Pool A, we will have 4 different games going on. We'll have 2 games going on with the US versus China and 2 games going on with Thailand versus Australia. So 4 games will be going on in Pool A. Same with Pool B. We'll have 2 games going on with Japan versus the world and 2 games going on with Korea versus Sweden. So 4 games there. So 8 total games will be going on each day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, with our tee-off times going from 9:15 to 11 a.m., there are 2 ways that they can do this. They can either have tee-off times pretty close together, every 10 minutes to 12 minutes or so, and start everyone on hole 1. Or because the golf course, like I said, is really, there's, no issues with people overlapping, no issues with women having to wait somewhere and getting backed up because of the fairways crossing one another. Nothing like that. It's this kind of figure 8, like I showed you. I mean, this is, let's see, that's north, but kind of a figure 8. So because of that, no issues with, anyone running into one another. If they did start a team at 1 and a team at 10, like a lot of tournaments are, they could have about, 30 minutes in between teams starting. And that would be a nice kind of relaxed way of doing it. You could follow your teams, and with having 4 women playing their ball, normally the most that tee off together is 3. So I'm hoping that that's what they do. I'm hoping that they have women teeing off at holes 1 and 10 and that they give more time. I will keep you updated while I'm there. Like I said, I'll be posting things, so I will let you know what is going on while I'm there. I also don't know who's teeing off and when because they haven't published that yet, but that gives you some idea at least of kind of the format, what's going on, and how it will all work. Now, on the semifinal and final day, I told you it's 4 ball being played all of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then on Sunday, for the semifinal and final games, I'm really excited because it will switch over to foursomes and then singles. And so what it will be for the semifinal and the final, it's going to be, like I said, the 2 first place countries from each pool. They're going to play the runners-up from the opposing pool, and it's going to be 2 singles matches and 1 foursome. Remember, the foursome, it's 4 women, and they each have a team of 2, and they're only playing 2 balls. So each team just has 1 ball, and the women alternate hitting 1 ball. And usually I think that this is a rule every time, they alternate who tees off every hole. So there definitely is some strategy in that decision as well. And then the 2 singles matches are the remaining 2 women from each team go head to head and play each other. So that is going to be the difference in how things are played on Sunday. So that will really be fun to watch as well. And like I said, we do have the 2 different, the AM and the PM tee-off times on Sunday because we have the semifinals, which will happen in the morning, and then that will determine who plays in the finals in the afternoon. So very, very exciting. And like I said, I'm going to keep you updated a lot more with exactly who is playing and when I get there. I do also want to tell you how to watch. This is going to be somewhat challenging, of course, because of the time change. And I'm not sure why, but Golf Channel is not doing encore presentations or encore, replays of this, which is very frustrating. But if you do have Golf Channel, then I assume you either have cable or Sling or some way to get Golf Channel, which is not easy to get. And so I'm also assuming that you have some way to record. So if you do have Sling, if you do have cable, if you have anything like that to be able to get Golf Channel, which is the only way that they are showing the Hanwha LIFEPLUS International Crown, then please just plan to record. You can set it up in advance. Please plan to record it because here is when it is being shown. Because of the time change, it is being shown Wednesday. So if you're hearing this, then tomorrow, Wednesday, from 9 p.m., this is Central Time, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Central Time. And they are showing these live. Thursday, October 23rd, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Central. Friday, the 24th, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Central. And then Saturday, the 25th, 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Central. And Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. Is that right? Okay. And then it has this listed. I don't know that this is right unless they're doing an entire replay of the entire event, unless they're doing some very extended coverage. But here's what it says, at least on the LPGA website. It says Sunday, October 26th from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. Central. I assume that's 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., but I'm not sure. So I would just set it up to record all International Crown showings, and then that way you are covered. But that is what I recommend. All right, the final thing that I want to say is going back, looking at the winners, it does look very exciting. 2014, Spain was, the country was a participant, and Spain won. 2016, the U.S. won. 2018, Korea won. As you know, it wasn't played in 2020. It was played again in 2023, which was the last time, and Thailand won. So this year we're going to see. I'm rooting for the U.S. I hope they win. But looking at the pictures of the winning teams, it's really fun to see all the winning pictures. It does look like they were all wearing kind of those polos, those kind of bland polos. It seems to be the thing, that is kind of the team uniform look, which is kind of disappointing, but I guess it's what they do, whatever designer is doing it. But I will say it was really fun to see in the pictures of the winning team. They actually do receive, in addition to the trophy that they get, the winning four women do receive crowns. And so, because it is the International Crown, and it was really fun to see them all with their crowns. Thailand was the only team who then wore their crowns in their pictures. And it was so cute. They put the crown on top of their hats, their golf hats, for their picture. It was adorable. And I was really surprised that they were the only team to wear their crown in their picture. So I hope these teams are thinking about what they're going to do with their crown when they win. But I can't believe that they have not all been wearing the crown. I really recommend that when the United States wins, that they put those crowns on and that they look like queens, because come on, the International Crown, they should be wearing these crowns. Anyway, I also recommend going to look at those pictures because they're very cute, and that's on the LPGA website. All right, guys, that's enough for now. I hope you all are so excited about this like I am, and please tune in to @Doris Golf Club on Instagram. By this point, I should be all set up also on TikTok. Can you believe it? That Doris is going to be on TikTok? I mean, that makes me feel, again, both very old and very young at the same time. Who would have thought that 45-year-old Doris would be on TikTok? But as my fantastic hairstylist told me, TikTok is the place that I need to be. That, if I like my YouTube shorts, which I do, she was telling me that TikTok is something that I would really like, and that is what I think probably all the young people are checking out. So I should be on TikTok by the time you hear this, so you can go to whatever, Doris Golf Club there. I assume it's @Doris Golf Club. I don't even know, but I will have figured it out by then. So check me out. I hope you're enjoying the content that I will have already been posting from my trip. Feel free to stay in touch. And until next time, bye.